Morning, folks. It's the morning of the fight, and I've watched all the. I've been binging all I saw the weigh-in yesterday. The gloves are off. Um, all the build-up programs that Sky's had to offer, and just looking at body language yesterday. I think, in my opinion, Eubank's going to win this one. Don't get me wrong, Smith is very, very capable, and we know that Eubank Jr. can be outboxed. He's been outboxed before. But I don't know. I think he's got inside Smith's head, personally. Just watching, Smith's very fired up. He's very, very upset, and I think he's playing into Eubank's hands. I mean, the touch of Eubank coming out with the Pride armband at the weigh-in, I think that's just, a lot of people are making a lot out of this business with Smith. I've seen a lot of people, he's a homophobe, he's a hateful human being. No, as I said before, I didn't take it as homophobic. My best friend, who is gay, didn't take it as homophobic, and we both agreed it's just childish nonsense. It's the sort of thing a 12-year-old would say, questioning somebody's sexuality. But to label him a bigoted homophobe, I think that's a symptom of today's society, because everybody's so frightened of offending anybody. And it's like, mate, okay, if you're offended, that's your problem. Am I condoning what he said? No, because it was a stupid thing to say. And he just made himself look like a dick saying it, because, what relevance is it, whether or not Eubank is gay or not? Who cares? What relevance is that to his fighting ability? It really is. There is no relevance whatsoever. But yeah, at the weigh-in, in my opinion, Eubank looked more comfortable. And yeah, he's like his dad. He likes being booed. He doesn't mind being the enemy. He doesn't mind being the baddie, if you will, in the promotion. So he thrives on it, just like his old dad used to when I was a youngster. I used to watch him. So yeah, it's sorry, I just had to step inside because it's fucking freezing outside. So yeah, it is shaping up to be a good old scrap. I'm really looking forward to that. To it tonight. Parker looked ready. Joseph Parker looked ready for his fight against Massey. Yeah, it's looking like a good night of boxing all round, really. So, and today is the 17th anniversary of the second fight between Erik Morales and Manny Pacquiao, which amazed me because I remember watching that fight live. And I mean, their first fight was brilliant, and Morales took an undisputed decision. And I just remember thinking, I remember thinking at the time, perhaps Pacquiao's, he's not what everybody thought he was. Maybe he was a bit flattered by the victory over Barrera back in 2003. I was kind of like, well, we'll see. But then it was a great fight, back and forth fight. But when he took out Morales had never been knocked out before at that point. And I just remember watching that fight and thinking, yeah, Pacquiao's the real deal. Pacquiao is going to be the face of the sport, and he was for a long time. A lot of people don't like him. Some people criticise when I made my list of pound for pound greatest of all time last week. It's just a personal thing. I got a couple of comments on Instagram and on here, my video last week, saying, "Oh, well, why wasn't Pacquiao on your list?" Look, I'm talking about, but the history of professional boxing goes back to 1883. Yeah, you can't include everybody. If you're narrowing it down to 10 people, not when you've got Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, Joe Louis, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler. Yeah, you've got all these kind of different people. You can't include everybody, and this is what it's such a subjective sport. It's what you like and what you think is a great achievement. Henry Armstrong. I would rate Henry Armstrong over Manny Pacquiao any day of the week. I mean, Pacquiao won more world titles, and he won more world titles in more weight divisions than Armstrong did. But Armstrong held 3 world titles in 3 weight divisions at the same time. Back in the day when there was only 1 world champion per division. Not now where you've got 4 official, like 4 recognised titles when you've got hundreds of other ones. You've got the WBU, the IBO, the IBC, GBF, all that nonsense. They don't mean shit. But in Henry Armstrong's day, there were 4. So there were, sorry, don't listen to me. There were only a limited number of titles. 1 per division, and he won all 3, and he went for the 4th. Yeah, he could have won the 4th. He could have held 4 world titles in 4 weight divisions at the same time, but he didn't manage it. So, and I'm not diminishing Pacquiao's achievements. I mean, there's always the argument. I maintain he's only had 6. He's won top world titles in 6 weight divisions, because official recognised titles in 6. But I always get shouted down. No, it's 8. It's 8 because he was Ring Magazine super featherweight, and he was Ring Magazine light welterweight. Look, the Ring Magazine titles are a guide. They're a guideline, in my opinion. They're not an official title. They're not an official sanctioning body. It's a magazine that, the Bible of boxing, as it was called back in the 20s when it was started, all the way through. And I tend to agree with the people they have elected over the years as the ring champion. Like now, the ring champion is the top guy, but it's not an official title. So I personally, and not that it matters that I'm just a guy, I don't class them. To me, he's a 6-weight world champion. But that's just my opinion. Feel free to disagree with me. I say this all the time. I'm not going to get angry and upset if you don't agree with what I say. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's freedom of speech. You say what you want as long as it's not inciting violence and it's not childish and hateful. We've all got our right to say what we want to say. And if you disagree with me, do it how people have done it, and just said, look, I don't agree with what you said. What about this? Do it in a constructive way. That's brilliant. That's idea sharing. It's brainstorming. It's a healthy debate. Not, as I keep saying it, because I keep having to block people on Instagram, especially. People just start DMing me and giving me shit, calling me names, and being pathetic. I had one guy last week. I forget the clown's name. I put up a post. Whatever post it was from weeks ago, and the guy just started having a go at me. You know fuck all about boxing. You don't know shit about boxing. And I checked the guy's bio out, and he was like 18. But mate, I'm nearly 40. I've been following this sport since I was 7 years old. Closely. And of course, just because he's a kid doesn't mean he hasn't got a point. His voice is just as important as mine. But I was just like, oh come on, sunshine. Shut the fuck up. What do you know about anything? Christ's sake, I've got a nephew who's older than that, and he's a fucking idiot. Nice kid, and I love him dearly, but he's a fucking moron, and he doesn't know anything about anything. And he'll tell you that. So anyway, I've gone off the point though. But yeah, so yeah, I thought it just shocked me how long ago that was. January the 21st, 2006. I mean, fucking hell. I remember it clear as yesterday, as if it was yesterday, watching that fight and being just in awe of Pacquiao and thinking, yeah, okay, Pacquiao's the real deal. He is the future of this sport. He's going to go on to do great things, and he did. Because I had heard of him years before. I'd seen his name in Boxing News magazine and things like that. They didn't tend to show a lot of his fights here. And then he beat Lelo Webwaba. Apologies if I mispronounced that. It's one of those tongue twister names. I think he was like a last minute opponent, and he took the IBF super bantamweight title. And it was like, okay, yeah, looked pretty impressive. I did see that because it was on the undercard of another fight. And then a couple of years later, he was on the Lewis Tyson undercard as well. He wiped out a guy pretty quickly. And then I remember seeing him against Barrera, and I thought, oh, he's too small for Marco Antonio Barrera. Barrera will have him. And of course, he was all over Barrera all night and fucking took him out. And at the time, very impressive. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from the victory, but I just thought, wow, maybe it was a bad night for Barrera. Maybe he was having a bad night, you know. And I kind of thought he was flattered by it. And like I was saying, he went in there with Marquez the following year and got the 3 knockdowns in the first round, but pulled out a draw. And I thought, well, maybe, we'll see. And then, of course, he lost to Morales, and I thought, well, it's not the best. Maybe he's been flattered a little bit. But then, like I say, that victory 17 years ago. 17 fucking years ago. That's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. But yeah, like I say, there's a bit of history for you. Enjoy the fight tonight, folks. I will have my beverages ready, my cigars ready. And my wife will be annoyed because I'll probably yell at the telly, because I always do. So enjoy the fight, folks. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Take care.